become more and more aware of the fact that you're part of this universal energy, this thing that people call God, you begin to really know from a deep level that that's your source, that that's where you come from. I mean, how often do you look at somebody, and you're talking to somebody and looking in their eyes and you really feel that they're present? And that's what I'm talking about. It's where you look at somebody and they're there, they're at home. Their Shen, the spirit is in its residence. When you have a daily practice like this, your patient walks into the treatment room and you have an effect of being able to harmonize and balance their energy without really trying. So the healing begins to take place as soon as they walk through the door.
Merle taught me about how important discipline is. I think at one point, while I was assisting her classes, I did standing form for over 60 days straight. When you are still like that consistently, you begin to see the movement of the world instead of just reacting to it.
The old aspect of us is more of a habit, so it's really like creating a whole new path home.
Story of a Kundalini awakening. And you can put whatever name you want to it. You can call it Kundalini, you can call it a heightened energy experience. The name, I think, becomes unimportant. But I had this experience where I was seizuring on the floor for a half hour, looking like a fish out of water. No control over my physical sense. And for the first 20 seconds, 30 seconds, felt like an eternity. I was so scared. And my body locked up, and I tensed up for a second. I went, oh my God, what's going on? And I went, it's just like surfing. Let go and ride the wave. And as soon as I said that, I felt my shoulders release, the back of my head, my pinky toe, everything released. And I got the biggest smile on my face from ear to ear. It was like a childhood grin. It was amazing. And within that, my whole body just was fishing on the floor and twitching and rolling and spasming and doing whatever it was doing. And I was just kicking back with the biggest smile and riding it out and just watching and feeling everything that was happening. And never quite been the same. And when it's ready, it comes. I didn't expect it. And that's why I locked up, and that's why I went into fear. If not for that daily practice, I probably would have stayed in the place of fear. But knowing that I know how to put my feet on the ground and I know how to connect to a higher source, that connection is what kept me grounded through the experience. It allowed me to enjoy it. It allowed me to just ride the wave. The Kundalini is kind of always happening. She's always working her magic in your sacrum. That all the Hatha yoga I've done for 10 plus years is all designed to awaken her, to get her ready to say hello. Here I am, man. And what you do is you have to work with the growth structure. You have to work with your muscles, your bones. You move from the muscle to the bone to the deeper layers. And that is all the alchemy. All the herbs I've eaten, supplements, trips to here, the yoga classes with this person, the time alone with myself in my own practice. Everything builds. It's always an alchemy, and it's always building. When the time is right, it happens. I think it is spontaneous. It felt spontaneous. I had no control. My body was undulating. And for each of us, that spontaneous is going to be different. Might be 10 years, might be 20, might never come. But it's always building. I'd like to at least think that I'm always working towards some kind of goal with my practice. And it's not to be this enlightened dude that can sit on top of a mountain and cure the blind. It's not necessarily my goal. My goal is just to connect more to myself. through that connection, Kundalini is just a reminder that, hey, you're on the right path. You're doing a good job. You know, it's like the pat on the back. It's when she pats you on the back. It's a little bit more than a pat. Making a sacrifice for Buddha. Running the Virgin's hair. Ask the Buddha, he'll always know.
Our teachers say that Schwartz carries a big stick, and what he's taught me is to not be afraid of the qualities that make us human. You know, we discover all these wonderful things along the spiritual path, but finding those lessons without trying to avoid the human condition is the poetry of life.
The great acupuncturist is an artist and a wise person with a generous heart. The tradition has initiated him into the mystery, and he stands before the door of all wonders. This is what I like about practicing Oriental medicine, is that each patient or human being that you encounter is a microcosm of the universe, and that understanding who they are and the kinds of lives they have lived is a way of understanding the entire universe. And I love the story about Lao Tzu, who liberated the country people of China from the demons, because he taught them that those demons were nothing more than an expression of their own minds. And if they confronted them and faced them, they disappeared. They were gone. He liberated the entire countryside. And that's the beauty of meditation, is that it teaches us that we are the creators. When we sit and meditate, we begin to hear all of the stories that we tell ourselves about what the world is like. And at a certain point in meditation, we start to realize that we define ourselves through those stories. And that if we change those stories, we can change who we are. And that's what it's all about. We are inspired to create this beautiful story. And so what I say to my patients is, stop telling yourself scary stories. And look at the media. The news, movies, everything. It's a scary story. It's like, what can go wrong now? And the idea is, okay, so what can go right? Let's explore that. How many things do you see going right within this experience?